sit and active listening.
Taking into the doors of an alien ship. It's flying off at high speeds and into the night.
All right, so we'll just jump right in. Welcome everybody to this podcast. I've got Lachlan Tocher here, and he's from Pareidolon. Did I pronounce that right?
Almost. It's close. It's Pareidolon.
So I'm going to assume a lot of the people who are watching this podcast probably want to learn about your band. Like, it's a real renaissance of prog rock going on. And actually, even just in the area, I was just thinking there's several bands, even in Victoria, where I'm coming from, Victoria, BC. Matthew Dolmage has a band called Versa. There's Freeze the Fall, which is on the mainland, which is
Yeah, yeah, they're from Kelowna, I think. I know them.
yeah, and they're I wouldn't say they're prog, but they're kind of metal. I mean, prog fans would like it. I like it anyways. And then there's Spaceport Union, another band from town, but the singer, one of the female singers, she passed away a few years ago, so
Oh
they
no.
kind of yeah, that sort of ended. But that was a great band, and of course, you're where are you guys based?
In Vancouver at the moment in New Westminster.
Right,
Our recording studio is here.
so maybe Canada is becoming a hotbed again for
Yeah, I
amazing
hope
music.
so. I know
Yeah.
a few artists from the East as well who are starting up, like Space Kitchen. There's Glass Kites here in Vancouver as well.
Oh, I haven't heard of Space Kites. Glass Kitchen. Yeah, I've spoken to them. I'm going to be having another interview with them coming up, actually.
Amazing.
Space Kitchen, right?
Yeah, Space Kitchen. Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, they're in Kitchener or something like that in
Yeah.
Ontario.
Yeah, which I actually used to live. So it's just kind of funny. I used to live close to that area.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
used to live in London, Ontario, and in Toronto as well.
Oh,
So,
nice. Yeah. Been to
yeah,
London many times.
yeah, yeah.
I used to live in Owen Sound, so it's not too far.
Yeah. So here's your new CD. I have listened to the first two tracks, which is really sad because I wanted to get the whole thing in before I talked to you. But I did get at least a good taste of the new album. I've listened to your couple of past albums,
Hmm.
and just so you know what I thought of this first listen, yeah, In a Distant Orbit was the first track, 6 minutes and 25 seconds. I was thinking, oh, it's a more simple song. It was less
Hmm.
complex. And I was thinking, okay, starting off simple, not simple, but and then track two started and it went really a deep dive into totally progressive territory. And I was really enjoying it. The word delicious came to mind because it had a
Oh,
lot of
nice.
delicious riffs, a lot of cool time signature stuff that you're playing around with, very complex stuff. And then your older stuff too, I was really impressed with it. The again, it was very progressive. So
Thank you.
so you've got three women and two guys. Let's see, the bass player, or is it?
That's me.
Oh, you're the bass player,
Yeah.
of course, Lachlan. And then Abar's Savat, he's the drummer,
He's the
or
drummer, Ibars. Yeah.
Ibars. Okay, got it. Then you've got Anne, Ashley, and Brittany doing keyboards and vocals and flute.
Yeah, the flute was actually, unfortunately, on this album, it's just in the first song. It was a guest appearance from one of our friends who's in Montreal right now, Sophie. But on the next one, I'm hoping to have flute sort of throughout because it's a beautiful instrument. I love how it sounds. And I
Hmm.
feel like it's not utilized in prog so much anymore. So I'd like to get it in there.
Is someone in the band a flautist, or you just bring them in as
No,
guests?
we just had guests. I think the flutes you were probably hearing on the older stuff is probably Mellotron flutes. Because I think this is the first time we've actually recorded a real flute, which was super fun. I love having the real instruments whenever possible, but on the older stuff, I just, worked with whatever I could get.
Right, right. So am I right? This is the third album then, is it?
This is the second full studio album. We
Okay.
had a EP in between them, which had a cover of Lunar Sea by Camel.
Mm,
And
right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
had that out in 2018. I think it's been a long time between releases.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you do the best you can, I guess, with
Yeah.
obviously it's not a full-time position you're doing here. Would you do it full-time if you could?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know that it would be realistic to be able to, tour with this band full time. I'm in a few other bands, and I think those would be better for, making a living out of. But I mean, if I could, absolutely, like it would be great to be able to take this band on the road and be able to pay my bandmates and have them be able to take time off work and go do everything that entails.
Yeah.
My dream is one day to be able to do like a Progressive Nation at Sea type tour or a show opening slot or something like that one day maybe would be great. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. What bands are your major influences?
I sort of grew up listening to the Beatles and Styx of of all
Oh,
bands.
Styx. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, big Styx fan. They had a huge influence on me as a kid, just the synth sounds that they would use and the that sort of general rocky vibe with the prog sort of influence, but never fully going there. I don't know, just found them very interesting. And then from there, I expanded out. I got into some Rush, got into Dream Theater. Coheed and Cambria was a big one for me. And then from there, it just kind of like exploded. Like really, once I found Dream Theater, and then I started hearing their influences. Weirdly enough, I did not discover like Yes and Genesis and Gentle Giant and those other sort of big ones, ELP, until long after I had discovered Rush and the others. So yeah, and I just kept going. And I would like go to the local record shops and find all these old because I started collecting records, I think in like 2010, and they really hadn't like taken off yet as a big like resurgence in popularity. So I'd go to these record stores that are local. They'd have, like classic Genesis albums imported from Germany for like $5. I'd just
Ooh,
go through, have
nice.
the whole discography, and there you go. So I did a lot of exploring that way. But I think in terms of actual like songwriting, the most influence I take is probably from, I would say Camel, Eloy, uh, Genesis, Rush, Opeth, Dream Theater, and Leprous, I think, is really where we're at the moment. Bits of Gentle Giant in what I like to try for. Obviously, that's extremely difficult music to make with all the vocal stuff going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just all over the place. And then like you throw in a little bit of classic rock, you throw in a little bit of pop stuff. Like I know the 80s stuff, the 80s pop music gets a really bad rap from prog heads because all the bands sort of shifted direction there. But I love all that stuff. Like 80s Genesis, I think hot take might be almost on par with 70s Genesis in my eyes. So I take a lot of that influence ahead as well. A little bit of jazz. I went to music school, so incorporating the jazz stuff I learned from that is always fun. Just all over. I think on the first album we did, there is a sort of like solo piano instrumental where I mean it's pretty simplistic as far as piano pieces go, but I'm happy with how it turned out. It was the closest to a classical influence that I think we've got so far.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to get in this interview. I want to understand your process of your recording process, for example, how you recorded the album, your composing process, how do you come up with your ideas for music?
Generally, I do most of my work in front of a computer. I find it very difficult to like jam things out on the spot and come up with ideas and sort of bounce them off of other people. I do work like that in other bands with slightly simpler music. But I find I usually have an idea in my head of what I want a song to accomplish, whether that's like a mood or a song structure or the instrumentation I want it to have or something like that. So I'll sit down on a computer and I'll just try to like work out a very basic skeleton of what I want. And then I'll fill it in with other instruments and layers, and then I'll put the vocal harmony. Usually, like melody and vocals and stuff is all the last thing that I add. But the inspiration can come from anywhere. I could be like listening to like there's one song on this album. It's the 25-minute one, which you haven't got to yet.
I will.
Yeah, you'll get there. The intro riff for that was based off of I don't know if you know the song "The Moor" by Opeth.
No,
One of my favorite ones, but
I
it
might
just
have
has
heard
this
it.
really driving groove the whole time with these like just sort of classic spicy minor chords. And I really wanted to do something like that. So I use that as the thing. And then the whole song just kind of spiraled out. Once I've got the basis little starting point, then it kind of just writes itself and I see where it goes after that. Um,
And
but
what's
then
your
I've
main
had,
instrument as you compose? Are you doing keyboard, guitar, or?
it really switches. I play keys, bass, and guitar all okay. So depending on the idea I've had, like I wrote probably half the songs on this album, I think are split between guitar and keys. Emotional Tides, I don't know if you remember the bit in the middle after the long break, the long synth break, there's this like Rush-esque, really off-time
Oh,
riff going
yes.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that was the first thing that started that song, and that I wrote on bass, just noodling around in a rehearsal at one point. So, I mean, the ideas come from anywhere.
Yeah.
But then I work them out on my computer. I have set demos that I'll finish. They're not set in stone or anything. I'm not married to them, but I'll have a demo ready. I'll send it to the rest of the band. They'll learn their parts. They'll improvise on stuff. They'll change things, and then we'll go and we'll record them as we can. That's
Right.
basically
And
why
you
this
write
one
the
took so
lyrics as
long.
well?
Most of them, I think on this
Okay.
album, there's two songs that I didn't write the lyrics for. But that's just out of like necessity at this point. I don't want to write all the lyrics. I don't want to write all the music. I just do because the others are all busy, like getting anyone together to collaborate on stuff. We all have our own separate projects going. We all have full-time jobs. We've like the guitarist and the drummer are married. They own a recording studio where we record most of our stuff, but they have clients. They have two other bands, three other bands that go. So it's just like really getting things done, doing most of it myself because I have the time, and then getting them when I can to come in and do some things.
It's a common theme among a lot of musicians I talk to lately. I mean, some have the luxury of doing it full time, but most bands are like, they've got several projects, so it's like you've got several bands that you're in at the same time.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got your own solo stuff you're doing. I just jotted down here Rush because you mentioned Rush. The big news, of course, a couple days
Mm.
ago, they announced that they're going to go back on tour. They've got a new drummer who's a German female drummer. Have you heard
Annika Nils, I
Annika
think her
Nils
name
or
is.
Niles or
Yeah.
Nils? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard what do you think of the news?
I mean, I'm excited. Rush is my favorite band. So just I saw their last tour. They played in Vancouver on the R40 tour right before they called it quits.
Lucky you.
And that was the first time that I got to see them and the last.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was living like 9 hours away, so I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to that show. It's not feasible. I'm in music school. I can't take time off. And my dad was like, no, we're going to make it work. I'm just going to drive you overnight. You're going to see the show and then I'm going to drive you home. I was like, wow,
Wow.
thanks. So I bought the tickets. I think they were like $40.
Oh my God, that's great.
And he drove me out there and I saw the show. It was amazing, like 3.5 hours long. And
Your dad's
then
a Rush fan too, I take it.
no, no, he doesn't like Rush at all. He likes them
Really?
as people, like he's seen the Rush documentary. He thinks they're great musicians, but he doesn't like Geddy's voice. He doesn't like the complicated music.
Oh,
But he
okay.
just knew how much I loved them, and he was like, "Yeah, we're not going to miss that. Who knows how long they're going to be around?" And then, obviously Neil dies a few years later, so
Yeah. Oh
he's a smart
man.
guy sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like having them come back, I'm debating making the trip out to Toronto to be able to watch them. I think Annika's a great drummer. I've seen stuff she's done before. My drummer friend, who's actually his birthday today, I'm going to his party tonight. He's met her and he works at Drumeo and he's done some stuff with her.
Hey, maybe we'll all drive together to see the show because I'd like to go too. If they're not coming to Vancouver, we'll get a van and a few of us Rush fans we could drive.
Yeah, that would be
We'll listen to
awesome.
every album in sequence as we drive across Canada,
Yeah. Well,
and
I
we'll
heard they
get.
just added 5 new shows like the
Ooh,
2 days after announcing the tour. So who knows? They might add more. Maybe they will make their way out here
yeah.
eventually.
Who knows? Anyone who hasn't heard Pareidolon, you guys got to check it out. It's very complex, and to me, it sounded like there was a real sense of fun. And it didn't sound like looking down my nose at you, look what I can do. Because I know some bands do come off that way, to be honest. And but your music sounded really there was a real joy in it, which I
Well,
really
that's
appreciated.
great because I'm glad you say that. That's actually like a goal of mine is to just write music. Like the album is actually pretty cynical and pretty depressing, I guess, the subject matter of it. But I don't think musically it is. And I think that I try really hard to write music that like isn't goofy. Something like Gong or something. I love that stuff, but I just can't write something that whimsical. But like I don't want to be constantly writing like Anathema or Catatonia or something where they're just like so depressing all the time, which again, I love. It's just, I want to balance and I miss when prog bands, Haken's got a lot of it, but like, early Genesis stuff, weird sense of humor, early Yes stuff sometimes, just nonsense lyrics and goofy passages. And I just miss that kind of thing. Like it's very serious, very intellectual music a lot of the time, and then just bringing some levity in with some weird parts or some funny synth sounds or whatever you can throw in there, some odd lyrics. Just I think that stuff's important and is kind of lost a little in the genre these days. A lot of bands don't take that route.
What's your goal for your music then?
Really, I just want people to hear it. I like this project isn't about making money. It's not about I don't know. I don't expect any like actual crazy success to come from it or anything like that. I have this music in me. I need an outlet for it. I love this kind of stuff. They always say write what you want to hear. And so that's what I've been trying to do. There's certain elements that I've never really heard together before or not in great quantities, sorry, that I wanted to write myself because I didn't see anyone else doing it. And as long as like some people listen to it and they enjoy it, I think it was worth making. And I mean, it's just great because the other bands that I'm in are, like, rock, indie, folk stuff. Then the other band members in here, like some of them are in, wedding bands, some of them are in pop bands, just whatever. And this gives us a reason to all come together and really challenge ourselves and try to create this much more difficult music.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, especially like even on the engineering side of things, for me to learn how to record and engineer all these different instruments that I've never even seen before, like a B3 organ. I saw one for the first time in real life, and I was like, "How the heck do I record this? It's got so many spots that make sound. What do I do?" So it's like just being able to learn all of that stuff and use these albums as like experiments, basically.
Tell me a little about the other members of the band, especially the singing. Curious who takes the lead as the singer.
Yeah, that would be Brittany. Brittany Keller. She has a pretty much, I think, my favorite voice that I've heard in person. Really happy to have her on the first album. There was sort of two singers, and I ended up just liking having the female vocals more. So I figured for the second album, we just do that. And I think it works a lot better. It feels more cohesive than having two singers trading off all the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, she's from Saskatchewan, way out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, cool.
And we all
Yeah.
met in music school in, I don't know if you know where Nelson is here in BC, but it's a
Yep.
little 8 hours east from where I am, I guess.
Uh-huh.
There's a music school there. We all met there. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, just from all over. Like our drummer, he's from Turkey. He came to that school on a whim, and we met there.
Wow.
And then me and Anna, the keyboard player, we lived in Nelson. So it was just a handy music school in our backyard. And then, yeah, the guitarist, Ashley, she's from half Kelowna and half Newfoundland. So,
Yeah. You said
yeah.
the drummer married one of the members. Is this after that they met in school or?
Yeah, yeah. So like, we
Wow.
all met in school. And then I think when we moved to Vancouver after we graduated, they sort of started a thing and then they got married and they've been together like 7, 8 years now, I think. Started a
Wonderful.
studio together, do tons of different bands with each other. It's great. It's wholesome.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. Any kids yet? Anyone have children or are you all childless?
No children, like I don't know, even a lot of us don't want to have kids, but even if we did in this day and age, trying to be working musicians with our other part-time jobs to fill the gaps, like just having a kid financially isn't feasible. We all live in one-bedroom apartments that we can barely afford. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't know how that would work. Like if I was to have a kid, I'd probably start my job full time. I'd move out to, Manitoba somewhere where housing is cheap and just give up on the whole music thing.
Oh gosh,
'Cause I
don't
just
do
don't
that.
think it can work.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it's gonna improve. I really do. When I was a young guy, let's see, in the 19 mid 80s, I moved out of home when I was actually only 17 and had my own apartment for a little while and I roommated, to survive, but I was doing like Burger King or something at the time. I was like, and I could actually still afford to live on my own with a salary
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Still managed to make music back then too. So, okay, I hope that all works out for you. I mean,
Thanks. Me too.
yeah.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the rest of it when you get around to listening to it.
Oh, I
The
will. I don't know if you checked it out, but I have a blog where I do album reviews.
I did not know that. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll send you the link. As soon as I get familiar with this enough and hear it a few times, I'm going to write a review of it and give it a not stars because I had the Prog Dog thing, Prog Dog.
Yeah.
I used pause, so it was like
Oh, cute.
out of 5 paws, you get your score.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great. I'm excited for my paw rating.
yes, and speaking of that, actually, I'm going to show you. My channel used to be Prog Dog, and then I went to my name, Dean Wolfe.
Hmm.
But I want to bring back Prog Dog, so I'm going to call it Dean Wolfe, comma or bracket prog dog because I ended up doing prog most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I got him and
There he is. There's the Prog
washed. So
dog.
he's back. He is back.
That's great.
So you guys got really good reviews on this album so far.
Yeah, it's been doing surprisingly well so far. I've sold out pretty much all the CDs too. I did not anticipate uh just how much people would apparently like it.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
the unattainable shore, which is a great title. I like that. And the art is gorgeous. Tell me a little about the art.
Yeah, I mean, same school where we all met. There's a graphic design program there as well, and I was just right before we moved away, I was looking at an art exhibition they were doing, and I saw these beautiful paintings um, from this guy. His name was Jordan Weiss, and I'd never met him. I've still never met him. But I sent him an email and I was just like, "Hey man, like I love your painting. I really think that this is exactly what I want for this art, and I want to continue with him in the future too." He just knocked it out of the park. That was the first thing for the album that was finished. So all the music kind of tried to live up to that art piece.
Interesting. That's a neat way to do it, actually, to have your
Yeah,
album artwork instead of work backwards from that.
yeah. It was not normal, but it was interesting
And
to
is
have
it
that
oil or
format.
is it watercolor? Do you know, or pen and ink?
No, this one was digital, all done on an iPad, surprisingly, and he made it
Really?
look really like a legit painting. I was very impressed.
It does
Yeah.
look legit. It's got so much movement in the water too. It's really a really stormy. Man, you wouldn't want to be in a canoe in that water, let me tell you.
No.
What else inspires you that has nothing to do with music? Like, is it nature or politics or what?
Lyrically, a lot of it's inspired by my own experiences or things I've read about. Like I like to read books and take, inspiration from those. I go on walks and just sort of think about stuff and listen to other music, and then that triggers different thoughts and just, I don't know, things pop up. But yeah, nature is definitely a big one. Really, everywhere around BC is gorgeous. So you can just pick a direction and walk wherever you want to go, and it's just breathtaking.
Yeah, I think there's a picture
Um,
of you guys on a dock somewhere here. Let's get this up.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that picture. Even that little bit goofy, not probably the serious band photo I think most people would expect, especially on a an album as sort of morose as this one is. But I was sick of the bands in the woods and bands on the train tracks like on
Yeah,
our
yeah,
first album, and just like let's do
yeah.
something different. Let's all go sit on a park bench or lay on a dock.
I think it's great. I think it's brilliant. You could use this in any marketing because it's unique. I'm curious. You said reading books can inspire you. Do you read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi? I noticed you got Bionicle
Oh
poster
yeah.
back there and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a huge sci-fi guy. Fantasy, when I read, I usually read fantasy. I don't tend to like fantasy TV or movies as much. Like Lord of the Rings is kind of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, for books, like I read a lot of Terry Pratchett. I mean, that he has a lot of books, so that took a long time. Lord of the Rings, just a whole bunch of different fantasy stuff, old stuff, obscure stuff, and that inspires a lot. I really also like Iron Maiden's type of like sort of adventure storytelling that they do in a lot of their songs. So if you fuse that with the fantasy stuff or with a real life event that's cool, like the Vor Ariane song is about a plane almost crash, kind of an accident that happened in the Philippines, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
So just like taking that stuff and adapting it, things I've read into like sort of stories that can unfold the way Iron Maiden does is a big influence on me as well.
Be nice to maybe at some point we'll have an interview with everybody or something like that.
Yeah, I'd love to get
That'd be
them in
cool.
if we can schedule it more ahead of time. Give them some
Yeah.
heads up. They can definitely get here. See you later.
Okay.
Thanks, Dean.
See you
Bye.
later.